Ball game tops in the conference in that category.
Starting lineups for this one this afternoon, and for Rutgers, the lineup stays the same, but the bench depleted again. Eugene Omoruyi injured last time out. He is out for this game and for the foreseeable future. For Purdue, we haven't talked yet about Vincent Edwards, a little under the weather the last time this Purdue team took the floor.
Not able to get on track last time out offensively versus Maryland. Held into single digits, but contributed in other ways. 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Stellar in terms of being on the defensive end of Penn State.
Vincent Edwards has not practiced the last 2 days for Purdue. They did not shoot around this morning at the Rutgers Athletic Center. They opted to take it easy this morning, do some work at the hotel, and ready to get this one underway as Haas controls the tip to P.J. Thompson. And here come the third-ranked Boilermakers. 22-2, 11-0 in conference play. And Matthias working against Issa Cham. Matthias drives. The shot blocked inside by Ducor and snared by Freeman.
Nice job by Ducor of understanding once you're in that restricted area, Kevin, the only chance you have to not draw a foul is to go up and contest. Leave your feet. He did just that.
Cham at the top. Here's Corey Sanders against P.J. Thompson. And a foul called on Thompson, his first. The head man for the Purdue Boilermakers, and what a job Matt Painter has done not only this year but throughout his career at Purdue. But this team has all the markings of something really, really special. Corey Sanders. Here's Geo Baker, this terrific freshman waiting for traffic to clear. Ducor can't get that one to go, and the rebound tipped out by Issa Cham.
And he was worried about the presence of Isaac Haas and Coach Steve Pikiell. That's exactly what you wanted to do. Get something going toward the rim. Geo Baker showing you why he is among the leaders in assists for freshmen in the conference. Just not able to convert there.
Talking with Steve Pikiell this morning, he's optimistic that they'll not only see Eugene Omoruyi back before the end of the year, they might get Mike Williams back as well, as there's a whistle and a foul underneath against Mamadou Ducor. The injury bug certainly has bitten this Rutgers squad hard, losing both Eugene Omoruyi and Mike Williams, two key contributors.
Especially on the offensive end. Cumulatively, Kevin, they give you 16 points per ball game. In the grand scheme, that may not seem a lot, but it certainly is to Rutgers. That's almost 25% of your scoring out of the lineup right now.
Nice block by Deshaun Freeman to swat away Isaac Haas.
Purdue also must be cognizant right now. The shot clock at 11 seconds. And a good job here by number 33, Freeman, of coming over the top. And Haas, that's when he gets in trouble, Kevin. Look where the release point was. It was down around his shoulders. If he extends toward the rim, chances are that's a completion.
Edwards going around some traffic. Freeman again with a rejection. 5 on the shot clock for Purdue. We've seen this Rutgers team in this building play well against ranked opposition.
And a nice job by Freeman. He was beaten on the initial drive, but came from the backside for a second block shot in this transition.
Rejected again. Geo Baker, 3 blocks on that trip down the floor for Rutgers. Here's Corey Sanders around the Freeman screen.
I'd go to Freeman with the way he's played so far. Get a touch to Freeman. He's got a mismatch with Thompson if they choose to locate him.
Haven't been able to get to that side of the floor yet.
Good recognition by Edwards. He saw the same thing and called the switch.
Issa Cham, the 3. And Rutgers jumps out on top to start this ball game. Issa Cham, almost 39% from behind the arc.
And if you're Purdue, that's who you have to find, Kevin. Make him put the ball on the floor. That limits his effectiveness greatly because he is an outstanding catch-and-shoot guy.
P.J. Thompson trying for the answer, no, but a foul. And Thompson's going to shoot 3 free throws.
The Rutgers got their motor going on the defensive end, and here you see Baker, they get the defense flowing one way, then you kick it back, and you have to be there on the catch for Issa Cham because at about 6'9", he can shoot over the top. Nice job of executing in the half court by Rutgers.
Excellent free throw shooter in P.J. Thompson. Terrific free throw shooting team at almost 75% of the year.
I mean, they're 50% from the floor as a team, 43% from behind the arc, first in the conference at three-point shooting. And then if you foul him, 75%, and more impressively, if you foul the big guy, Haas, he's 78%.
Yeah, there's not a lot of weaknesses on this Purdue team. They've got some depth off the bench, all of that senior leadership. The 4 seniors averaging almost 51 points per game. And one of those seniors, P.J. Thompson, good on all three at the line. 18 straight wins for Purdue. And their largest deficit in that streak, just 10 points when they were behind 14-40 Indiana the other day. Sanders probing with 10 on the shot clock. The entry to Ducour. One-on-one against Haas. Tried to feed it into traffic, taken away by Carson Edwards.
Bad pass, no angle there.
Edwards stepping through. Three defenders with the reverse.
And those are the sorts of turnovers you cannot afford to have if you're Rutgers. Live ball turnover, poor passing decision by Ducour led to a numbers advantage for Purdue in the open floor, and Carson Edwards continues his impressive sophomore year.
Averaging 17 points per game on the road this year. Tops on this team. As Freeman with a good head and shoulder fake gets to the line for two.
Man, is he feeling it. 2 blocks. Then the little shimmy sheds the defender. That's a tough shot for a right-handed shooter going to his left. It came under control.
Here's Haas. Hasn't had a lot of touches yet. Gets an opportunity and the hook falls.
Yeah, and if you're Mamadou Ducour, you're the loneliest guy in America right there. Because if he gets you on your hip, you need 3 days supplies and 2 Sherpas to get around it.
Sanders had his pocket picked, knocked away by Edwards, picked up by Matthias. Here's Haas again against Ducour. Vincent Edwards, the kick to Thompson for the open three.
And that's what has been so important for Purdue all year, Kevin. Unselfish play. They kick it inside, then they get it to Edwards, who had a chance maybe to score at the rim, but they spaced the floor so well, he's able to find his senior teammate, P.J. Thompson. 6 points so far for the point guard.
And half the Purdue points coming off Rutgers turnovers early. Bad trend for the Scarlet Knights as they try to pull the upset.
Especially coming off the performance that they had against Illinois, where the Scarlet Knights had 25 miscues.
Freeman banging his way inside, offensive foul. First foul on Freeman, third on Rutgers as a team, and the third Scarlet Knight turnover. 10-5 Purdue early in school history. For Matt Painter's squad, you know, you walk out of that 7th place game at the Battle for Atlantis with a win over Arizona. And those are two teams that could very well meet again in the Final Four in San Antonio, because combined since then, they're 34-1.
You would have thought the world was coming to an end when they had those 2 games that they dropped down in Nassau, but boy, have they been impressive, especially their ability and willingness to share the basketball, averaging 18 assists per ball game.
Same 5 on the floor for Purdue. Shaq Dorson on the floor now for the first time for Rutgers. Pass tipped into corner. Geo Baker able to snare it. Ball loose. Diving for it. Carson Edwards in the flip to Vincent Edwards. Purdue on the run. Edwards into Dorson. The bucket falls, and Purdue up 12-5.
Nice job by Vince Edwards of understanding that Dorson was backpedaling and put his shoulder right into the chest of the 7-footer. Didn't give him a chance to extend his arms and block the shot potential.
Another Rutgers turnover. 2 made field goals, 4 early turnovers.
And 7 points off those turnovers. Gave up 37 points off turnovers against Illinois last time out.
18-footer by Sanders wouldn't fall. And Carson Edwards up the floor. There's P.J. Thompson. Matthias popping out. Sanders out there defensively against Thompson. The shot clock winding to 10. Haas got free. And a quick swat by Shaq Dorson. That's 4 Rutgers blocks.
And the 2 blocks have been on Haas, and both the times, Kevin, he hasn't extended himself. It's been kind of almost a penguin release. He hasn't extended. When he has struggled offensively, it's when he doesn't get the ball above his shoulders quickly, and turnovers have been a problem for the Scarlet Knights. Nice job by Carson Edwards going on the floor and digging it out for yet another point off turnover for the Purdue Boilermakers. And if you're Rutgers, you don't want to do anything to make this game easier for Purdue out in the open floor.
Boilermakers going to the bench. Matt Harms on the floor. Ryan Klein out there as well. Here's Deshaun Freeman trying to attack Vincent Edwards. The fadeaway a little bit off, and the rebound to Carson Edwards.
And a nice job by Vince Edwards of forcing Freeman to spin away from the basket and not get over that left shoulder.
Edwards got a wide open look for 3. The deep 3 won't go. Sanders with the board. Rutgers holding their own on the glass right now, even at 5 rebounds apiece. Sanders, the crossover, gets all the way to the rim. And that's what Corey Sanders does best. Gets to the rim and finishes.
And he got down low with that crossover dribble. That allowed him to turn the corner, and a nice job by Sanders of finishing with the left hand. That didn't allow Harms to come over and erase the opportunity.
Here's Harms. The dribble handoff to Edwards, curling into the paint.
And I thought he got away with one. That inside shoulder by Carson Edwards.
Right into Candido Saws. Harms finishes. Harms at almost 80% on his two-pointers in the Big Ten. Of course, most of them are from about 2 feet away.
Also a superlative shot blocker at about 3 per game.
Fourth leading freshman shot blocker in the country. Deshaun Freeman from the elbow has got 4.
And that's a rare breakdown defensively by an experienced Purdue squad. They got caught on the switch. They didn't talk. That allowed the open elbow jump shot by Deshaun Freeman.
Here's Harms to work with Klein. Klein had 12 points and 6 rebounds in the first meeting between these two teams. That at the very beginning of conference play. Purdue won that one easily, 82-51.
Vincent Edwards, a nice job of pulling up under control and not floating into a potential charge. Nice job by Candido Saw. Nice job.
Baker with the pull-up deep from 2. Long rebound to Klein. Vincent Edwards with that last bucket, now over 1,500 points in his career. Good catch by Harms, and the handoff to Klein. Klein with a deep jumper for 2. Had a toe on the line. It is a 2, and it's 18-9 Purdue, and a timeout taken by Rutgers.
Isaac Haas will have 2 of his shots blocked in this sequence, and both because he did not have a high enough release point here. Dorson able to rotate over. That earned Isaac Haas a trip to the bench because he wasn't assertive offensively. That's a 4-0 advantage in blocks to the Scarlet Knights. Conversely, a 4-0 advantage in turnovers goes to Purdue, and they've been able to turn those turnovers into 7 points.
4 made field goals, 4 Rutgers turnovers. Not a ratio that Steve Peichel is going to be particularly excited about as Matt Bullock is on the floor for the first time today for Rutgers. Here's Baker, the deep 3. Karam wildly off, no good. Candido Saw.
Nice job by Saw. That's the second time he's kept the possession alive for Rutgers with an offensive glass.
They're going to check, I believe, to see if that shot by Baker grabbed any rim or if it should be a shot clock violation.
Because it did not hit the rim, would not have reset. So with their timer, they had to go and take a look and say, hey, did 5 seconds elapse? And it appeared that it did, and yet another turnover for the Scarlet Knights.
That's 5 turnovers for Rutgers. Here's Klein. Edwards slipped, so did Saw. 10 to shoot. Edwards with the step back. Got to fall.
Rutgers wants an offensive foul. I think that was more the fact that Sauce kind of slipped, Kevin, and was falling backwards. Edwards did extend that inside arm a little bit, but I don't think that was the reason for the discard. I think Saw just got his feet tangled up.
6 points early for Vincent Edwards. Martell Eastern trying to defend Corey Sanders.
And how about the respect being shown the freshman Geo Bakers? He's drawn the primary defender in Dakota Mathias from the Purdue Boilermakers, and so far so good offensively for Corey Sanders.
He's got 4 points, 2 for 4 shooting. Baker 0 for 2. Has not scored yet for the Scarlet Knights with Mathias on him. Klein to Edwards.
If they get the ball to Mathias, he's going to be able to score here.
Working against Bullock. He'll shoot the 3 over Bullock and hit. I think I just heard someone say he'd be able to score here.
Simple game, Kevin, or they wouldn't let me near it. You could see that one unfolding.
There's Sanders going past Eastern all the way to the rim. That one unfolded early as well.
And so far, Sanders has not tried to make the spectacular play. He's tried to make the solid play, done a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball. They're going to need a lot more of that from the junior today.
And they're going to need it in a lot of minutes. That bench for Steve Peichel is very thin. Mathias looking inside to Harms with the left hand. No, the tip jam by Eastern won't go. The rebound caroms out to Bullock.
And Eastern very fortunate he didn't get called for a technical foul for hanging on the rim. There was no traffic there. He might have held on a count too long.
Corey Sanders now with 9:20 to go in the first. The jump pass to Bullock. He had 8 points last time out against Illinois. Bullock trying to go to work against Eastern. Got it to fall. Matt Bullock with his first 2 of the day.
Well, that's a tough conversion because Bullock did not clear the Piscataway phone book as he left the floor, but it found the bottom of the well.
In his defense, Piscataway, big city, a lot of names in that phone book.
It ain't New York.
Matthias in the corner, got an open look for 3. Pinballs out, and Saw with the rebound.
And Saw doing a nice job on the glass on both ends so far off the behind for the Scarlet Knights.
Third rebound for Candido Saw as Baker jump pass to Bullock. He'll launch the 3. And the rebound to Vincent Edwards. Quickly ahead to Eastern. Eastern driving right through traffic. The bucket and the foul. Geo Baker with the hack.
Well, Matt Bullock was forced into action after the injury to Mike Williams a couple of weeks ago. You mentioned it, 8 points versus Illinois last time out in a losing effort here, able to clear enough space. And then Geo Baker compounds in the open floor. Just a freshman mistake, Kevin. He had no chance to make a really clean play on Nogel Eastern. If you're going to make a strip at the ball, you have to make sure the shooter doesn't get the ball above his shoulders into a shooting position.
Eastern converts. He's got 3. And he'll sit down for P.J. Thompson.
And a nice job by Coach Steve Pikeloff getting the freshman out. He has been hounded, has Geo Baker, by Dakota Matthias. I think there's a little bit of frustration. This is a young man that's had to play a lot of minutes and done exceptionally well. Let him clear his head now up until the next media timeout.
Brady Eifert on the floor for the first time today for Purdue. Isaac Haas back out there as well.
Good job by P.J. Thompson of getting over a couple of screens.
Issa Chom, and here's Freeman in a travel. Yep, Chom took an extra step. Good defense by Purdue, forcing yet another Rutgers turnover. That is number 6.
And it was a small thing, but an important thing by Dakota Matthias. What he did is he kind of feinted at Chom. Chom saw him coming right here. And you're going to take a look at P.J. Thompson. Gets over the top, comes back around. A little bit of a dribble handoff. And then the feint right there. That froze Chom. He saw him out of his peripheral vision, leading to the miscue.
There's Haas inside. Traffic clears, but he's fouled. And Isaac Haas headed to the foul line, trying to convert after the foul on Deshaun Freeman. We'll return to Pistons Day, the only meeting this year, and it's right here on BTN. Michigan State and Nebraska rounding out that top 4. Of course, if you're above that first yellow line, it's the double bye in the Big Ten tournament. That's where you want to be if you can get there at the end of the season and get that double bye. We're just a few weeks away from being just a quick little drive from Piscataway to Madison Square Garden. Depending on traffic, it may not be as quick. Isaac Haas with the free throw, his 1,400th point in his career. We've seen some milestones already today. Edwards with 1,500, Haas with 1,400. Jake Datica off the bench for the first time today for Rutgers.
Well, nice backdoor. Good job of opening up by P.J. Thompson. They were trying to get the ball in the hands of Baker. Nice job by the point guard Thompson of taking it away.
Baker with 6 to shoot. Going to work, the lob down low. Nice catch by Saw. Saw can't get it to go. Rebound tipped around. Saw's got it. And a shot clock violation.
Nice little lead by Geo Baker, but Candido Saw wasn't really able to get his feet under him and power the ball up. A little bit of contact. Saw wasn't able to play through it, and Rutgers on yet another turnover on the shot clock violation, extending the defense a little bit as Coach Steve Pikeloff has to go even deeper to his bench.
Carson Edwards, the jump pass to Thompson. Matthias alone in the corner. His second 3 falls.
And how about the bounce pass for P.J. Thompson? You had Issa Chom, who was out there trying to disrupt that pass, and the little pass fake by Thompson, then the bounce pass led Matthias right into the jump shot.
Purdue doubling up Rutgers. 7-0 spurt for the Boilermakers. Carson Edwards nearly with a steal, couldn't keep it in play. And Dakota Mathias only in doubles twice in his last 5 games, but seems to have the hot hand early.
And the senior B.J. Thompson showing you why playing with somebody for a long period of time can pay dividends. A little bit of a pass fake, freezes the defender. Saw not able to get out there in time, and that bounce pass led Mathias right into a shooting motion.
Now 12-0 points off turnovers in favor of Purdue. Baker steps back for 3, and that one rolls home. First points for Geo Baker.
I really like the future of this young man. He just comes out, plays hard, goes about his business, had to play an inordinate amount of minutes as a true freshman. He's starting to wear down a little bit, but it's paying dividends.
Good hands by Sanders, and a little showtime for Corey Sanders.
You better put that through after all that French pastry.
Sanders with 8, and Rutgers back within 10. And this sold-out crowd trying to make a little noise. Carson Edwards fouled, headed to the line. Candido Saw with the foul. And another look at the Corey Sanders steal and finish this BTN standout presented by Discover.
Well, and for our BTN standout presented by Discover, Corey Sanders is saying, I want double my cash back as he sent one in.
Meanwhile, you've got this veteran Purdue team. Crowd up, place starting to rock a little bit. What do? Get it in the hands of one of the many seniors in Carson Edwards, who just calmly takes it inside, draws the contact, goes to the line, and quiets everybody down.
And Carson Edwards really has been impressive, not just in what he's done tangibly this year, as we have a line violation by Vincent Edwards, but to pay off the point about Carson Edwards, last year at times, he got a little bit out of control and tried to do a little too much. You haven't seen that so much this year as a sophomore. Had a great deal of experience in the offseason. He went to the World University Games with his Purdue teammates, but also was in the World Championships with the under-19 team in Egypt.
Forcing the dribble handoff to Sanders. 15 on the shot clock as Chom pops out. Chom around the Saw screen. Back to Candido Saw. The 12-footer dies on the back of the rim, and Haas the rebound.
Nice little set, though, by Rutgers, and you pulled the bigger player, Haas, away from the rim. Now, the next time down, you might be able to do a little bit of a back cut with him pulled away from the basket. Edwards with a deep 3.
And Sanders with the board, number 2 in the rebound category for Sanders. Rutgers out-rebounding Purdue by 1 right now. Five minutes to go in this first half. Purdue with 11. Sanders with 10 on the shot clock from the foul line. That 15-footer a little strong. Edwards with a rebound. Corey Sanders 4 for 7 from the floor. It's Edwards back out to Carson Edwards. Edwards driving left side baseline and a foul as Candido Saw comes in to chop down and pick up his second personal foul. So 2 on Saw, 2 on Freeman. Exactly what Steve Michael didn't want to have happen.
And that dribble drive was made possible because of the spacing of his Purdue teammates. They spread out, and because you're a team that shoots 43% from deep, if you're Rutgers, you have to be cognizant of that. Haas also vacated the area just enough to allow Carson Edwards to turn the corner.
One more for Edwards as the bench gets leaned on a little more for Rutgers. Ducor back on the floor, and for the first time in conference play, and only the 5th time this year, enter Luke Nathan, freshman walk-on from Randolph, New Jersey, who has played against CCNY, Coppin State, Bryant, and Fairleigh Dickinson. This is a step up.
This is being ratcheted up, yes.
And his reward for getting on the floor first, he gets the freshman Matt Harms, all 7'3" of them. Right now matched up with Vince Edwards, though, as Baker turns the corner. The reverse won't go, but a foul is going to be called on Harms, who came over looking for the block, and instead is called for the personal.
Really aggressive play, and I like it, from Geo Baker. They kind of clear things out. He's able to turn the corner with the right hand, and you see Harms, for some reason, was hugging his man. Dorson's not going to be a guy, or Ducor, that you kick the ball out to. If you're Harms, you have to have ball-you-man principles. He loses sight of it. Baker makes him pay.
Baker can't convert. Very good foul shooter, too. 82% on the year. 19 points last time out against Illinois for Geo Baker in what was a real rough game for Rutgers. They've been very competitive most of the year, but they ran into a buzzsaw at Illinois the other night, lost by 31.
Yeah, turnovers a big part of that. 25 turnovers for the Scarlet Knights in Champaign. That led to 37 points off those turnovers for the Fighting Illini, and then a bad day got worse with Omaruyi and that knee injury, who's out now for the foreseeable future. Nathan
sits down for Rutgers. Bullock back in. B.J. Thompson to bring it up. Vince Edwards, 6 points in this first half. Here's Carson Edwards.
Nice misdirection.
Klein, wide open three. And the rebound tipped to Sanders.
You get the defense flowing one way, then you kick it back. Klein just not able to knock it down.
And a foul on P.J. Thompson. That's his second 14 foul. And Thompson is going to sit down for Nogel Eastern.
But Eastern just doing everything in his power. He's just completely face guarding Corey Sanders. Nice job by the freshman point guard for Purdue.
6'6" long point guard as Sanders tries to shoot over him. Can't get it to go. The rebound tipped out of bounds by Vincent Edwards. It's going to stay with Rutgers. Timeout on the floor. 3:50 remaining in this first half. Purdue, an 18-game winning streak on the line. Now, coming up, the State Farm halftime report. Dave Revson back in our studios with Mike DeCourcy and Dion Thomas. We'll hear from them, breaking down everything you need to know coming up on our State Farm halftime report. Ready to go back to work with the alums off the floor now here in Piscataway. A lot of folks back today on this alumni weekend. Baker picked up by Harms on a switch. Here's Bullock in the corner against Edwards. Bullock leaning in with the right-hand hook, and Vince Edwards with the rebound. And the sophomore Carson Edwards handing off to Nogel Eastern. We'll bring it up the floor. Edwards against Baker. Edwards down the baseline, goes reverse, muscled it up and in. That's not an easy shot.
Great strength by Carson Edwards to just power through a couple of defenders, most notably Bullock, who was there at the rim, and a nice conversion off the dribble by Carson Edwards.
7th in the Big Ten in scoring. Carson Edwards with 6 first-half points here as Corey Sanders trying to work against Eastern. Got a little room on the baseline. Harms came over to help, threw off that shot. And Vince Edwards the rebound.
He had to put a little more air under there than that to which he's accustomed, and I think that made it a little long for him.
Carson Edwards to Harms.
Nice pass.
Vince Edwards the three. A little bit strong. There's Bullock with the rebound, his second.
And a nice block out by DeCour on Harms.
Rutgers down 13 as we wind our way toward 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Baker knifing through traffic. Harms came over, couldn't get there in time as it falls.
Very difficult shot, Kevin, by Baker, because he was able to get his shoulder in, but because of the length of Harms, he wasn't able to release it as you normally would. He had to put it all the way out to the side and then flip it up.
Vince Edwards had it poked free by Bullock.
Kevin, Geo Baker has been so impressive his freshman year, and he's going up against one of the best shot blockers in the conference in Harms as he turns the corner. Now watch that release. He had to put it all the way off to the side and use his wrist more than his usual shooting motion because of the shot blocking presence that was rotating over in Matt Harms.
Haas back on the floor now for Purdue. A bounce into Eastern. 15 on the shot clock. Carson Edwards pulls the trigger on the three. Vince Edwards with the rebound.
And Freeman has to be careful with his 2 fouls. He's been on the bench a long time.
And a turnover for Purdue, their first half turnover. Six turnovers for Rutgers, although of late they've been better in that department. Carson Edwards will sit down. Dakota Mathias back on the floor.
And that turnover will go to Carson Edwards, and deservedly so, but Isaac Haas didn't do him any favors. He didn't give him a target hand to throw to.
Tom weaving it to Sanders, picked up by Matthias. Sanders able to break free from the elbow, gets the jumper. He's got 10.
Now that's called dribbling with a purpose. A lot of times you'll see guys kind of utilize that crossover dribble for no other reason than they think it looks good. There he had to do it to create space.
Matthias around the Haas screen. Beautiful bounce to Eastern with a flush.
That's why I think Dakota Matthias is the most complete player in the league, Kevin. He can beat you from deep. We've seen his ability to do that. He's a lockdown defender, and his ability to create opportunities for his teammates off the dribble, unsurpassed.
Sanders, left elbow jumper. Pinballing out. Rebound underneath by Dorson to put it back up and in.
And Isaac Haas and Harms have not been much of a factor at all. They have a decided size advantage, and they haven't been able to take advantage of it for long periods of time. That's a big reason that Rutgers has been single digits.
State Farm halftime report coming up. Only one rebound between the two big men combined for Purdue. Matthias looking inside the Haas. Dorson doing a good job on Haas. 10 to shoot. Matthias, turnaround jumper. Strong. Freeman the board. His third. Push ahead to Baker. Leaves for Chom for three. Way off. Matthias the board.
Yeah, he didn't catch that cleanly. He went into a shooting motion before it completely corralled the pass. That's why it went wide left.
9-point game. Purdue can work for the last shot. Eastern with a beautiful spin. The no-look to Haas. Haas missed it. Edwards the follow. No, but a foul.
Kevin, I think everyone was expecting a travel because you saw everyone stop. I thought that Haas didn't catch it cleanly. Watch off the dribble drive. Sanders goes for the steal unwisely. Watch him, he kind of shuffles his feet twice. That's a walk. I think everyone else was expecting the call. It wasn't forthcoming. People in white jerseys for Rutgers kind of stopped, and Edwards able to snake in.
Second foul on Chom, sending Edwards to the line. One more to go for Vince Edwards. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists first half for Vince Edwards. And this is under the weather, Vince Edwards, without practice for the last 2 days. And the inbound to Sanders, who will just dribble this one out. And halftime here in Piscataway. Third-ranked Boilermakers to the locker room with an 11-point advantage on the road.
And a difficult end of the half for Rutgers. Dribbling with a purpose, as Vincent Edwards does there, allows his senior teammate P.J. Thompson to spot up and step into the three.
Second half about to begin. What does Rutgers need to do, Sean, to get themselves back in this game and stay in this game down the stretch?
Take better care of the basketball, not provide live ball turnovers and opportunities for Purdue to get out and run.
Try the alley-oop to start. And a whistle and a foul on P.J. Thompson, and that is number 3 on Thompson, just 11 seconds into the second half.
They spread the floor. A little dribble handoff to Sanders. You can see him timing his steps. And that's a tough one to have go against you if you're P.J. Thompson.
So Sanders with 10 first half points headed to the line.
Kevin, I'm going to be a little surprised if when Purdue gets the ball, if they don't make a concerted effort to get the ball inside to Isaac Haas, because I have to believe that he was challenged at halftime for a subpar play in the first half. Go right inside, and if he does catch the ball in there, go right to the basket aggressively, something he did not show in the first 20 minutes.
3 points on 1 for 4 shooting and only 1 rebound for Haas. Here's Matthias open for 3, and Dakota Matthias showing the range. He's got 9. For 3. Corey Sanders navigates up for Rutgers. There's Geo Baker. Jump pass to Sanders now. Deshaun Freeman had the hot hand early, then ran into foul trouble. He'll go to work again. The little runner just short. And Vincent Edwards the rebound.
I like the move, though, by Freeman. He pulls Haas away from the rim.
And Edwards gets hung up on the rim. Sanders will push now. Sanders, the floater. Pinballs out. Deshaun Freeman with the rebound and the putback. Crowd trying to get involved again. Freeman 6 points, 4 rebounds. Here's Haas. One-on-one against Ducour. Haas to work. Ducour with the strip.
And he brought the ball down. That's been his trouble all game.
Baker, the step back from the elbow. No, but a foul underneath. Ducour gets bumped on his way to get position by Isaac Haas.
Kevin, Haas had 2 shots blocked in the first half because of one thing, bringing the ball down. He does it there, and Ducour doesn't block the shot, but he strips it away, and it provides a rare opportunity in the open floor for the Scarlet Knights.
First foul on Haas. Sanders the trigger to chomp.
Nice
Freeman the bounce. Yes, Sanders the floater over Haas. Got the window and got it to drop.
Really nice job of cutting hard by Corey Sanders. He cuts hard. The defender tries to take away the opportunity to catch at the arc and a backdoor cut.
8-point game just 2 minutes into the second half. Edwards got some room on the baseline, and Carson Edwards too easy for the sophomore.
Way too easy. That's an excellent point, Kevin. Way too easy. If you're Rutgers, you can't afford Purdue to get that many easy baskets. You have to make them work on the end of the floor, especially when you had to work so hard for your points.
8 for Edwards. Corey Sanders picked up by Vince Edwards on the switch.
Nice job of finding the mismatch with Freeman with a much smaller Thompson.
Haas comes over to help. Freeman in some trouble, got help from Baker. 4 to shoot. Rutgers has to hurry. The step back 3 for Geo. Baker drops. Baker with 9. It's a 7-point game. Matthias, Haas, and a turnover. Vincent Edwards thought Carson Edwards was going to cut to the corner, and he threw it away.
Geo Baker held in check for long periods of time in the first half, making himself available. That's the first good thing he did. Here he's able to shake with the step back. Very difficult shot over Carson Edwards. And what you saw with that mistake, very rare from Purdue. Vincent Edwards didn't throw to a teammate. He threw to a voice. Many times that'll lead to a turnover.
Already 2 Purdue turnovers in the half as Freeman tries the 3 and Haas the rebound. Deshaun Freeman just 4 for 26 from 3 this year. And a foul. Geo Baker trying to climb through the screen of Haas. Picks up personal foul number 2.
That's not a screen, that's the whole door.
What do you do when Mount Kilimanjaro bounces out in front of you? You run into him. That's what Geo Baker did. Carson Edwards to Dakota Matthias.
Boy, Dorson's doing a really good job of battling position, and that's the second time we've seen Dakota Matthias here with a reptilian, just cold-blooded jump shot.
And how about another milestone? That's now 1,000 points in the career for Dakota Matthias. P.J. Thompson's 3. That's not going to go, and we've got a push and a foul inside Isaac Haas with his second.
Yeah, he's going to be dismissed from the lineup with extreme prejudice by Coach Matt Painter, who is giving him a verbal dressing down. I think the fact that it's not the fact that he hasn't really produced that much. He hasn't played smart basketball on the block and taking advantage of his decided height advantage so far today.
Only 1 made field goal for Haas, only 2 rebounds in 16 minutes of play. Corey Sanders now will walk it up. Remember, this is a much thinner Rutgers team than we've seen. No Mike Williams, no Eugene Omoruyi. Both out for the foreseeable future. Both may be back by the end of the year. Sanders to work against Eifert. 10 to shoot. Sanders, the pull-up for 2. And Corey Sanders has played some excellent basketball today, Sean. He has 16.
And Eifert was so worried about being beaten off the dribble. Sanders was able to sense that, and rather than take the extra dribble into help, he's able to pull up.
No-Gel Eastern. Nice spin to get free. The shot won't go. And now numbers, but Matthias tips it away. Ahead to Freeman for the 2-hand stop. when the rack gets going, the rack is a very difficult place to play, and it's going right now. The 15-point Purdue lead is down to 6.
Rutgers making so many hustle plays and kind of hanging around. They're undersized and undermanned along the front line, but Purdue, for long periods of time, hasn't been able to take advantage.
Carson Edwards trying to get inside. That won't go. Rebound kicked out to Bullock, and now numbers again as Sanders leaks out. Sanders against Matthias. The hoop and the foul.
Basketball.
Tonight, BTN's original series, The Journey, all new. There's a great feature, as you might have guessed, on Purdue's Carson Edwards. Plus, can't miss behind-the-scenes footage of the Purdue-Maryland game. That's an all-new episode of The Journey, fueled by Gatorade, tonight, 11 Eastern, on BTN. Purdue's got some pressing issues all of a sudden. That 15-point lead midway through the first half is down to 3, thanks to 19 points from Corey Sanders.
I like the mismatch in the far corner with Matthias and Bullock guarding it.
Arms the handoff to Matthias. Vincent Edwards drives inside all the way to the rim, and Vince Edwards puts it down.
And a nice job by Edwards of not settling. He had a jump shot, but understood that he could get in the lane. You don't have a shot-blocking presence for Rutgers.
Second Boilermaker in double figures, and Matthias knocks it off Bullock and out of bounds. And there's one of the things that Dakota Matthias does almost better than anybody in college basketball.
He can beat you from behind the arc, as he's done so far today, 4 of 5 from three-point range, but so disruptive. If he's not getting steals, he's so active with his hands and understands angles as well as anybody that I've seen in this conference in the last 10 years.
Edwards the trigger. Freeman knocks it away with a steal. Freeman to the rim for the two-hand flush.
That's one where P.J. Thompson just kind of fell asleep, didn't come meet the basketball, and Freeman able to snake in for the steal and dunk.
Here's Matthias, chased by Bullock.
Same sequence, they were able to get a dribble drive the last time going into the lane.
Freeman able to block the path of Edwards. Matthias, the deep three, and Sanders skying for the board.
And a nice block out right there by Shaq Dorson unharmed.
Corey Sanders. Here's Freeman. Thought about the three, instead is fouled by Edwards on his way by.
And that's just a rare breakdown in the scouting report. You want Freeman to shoot that shot if you're Purdue. But Freeman, on the previous possession, P.J. Thompson just didn't come meet the basketball, and a lazy pass leads to a pilfer and poke in for Freeman.
First foul on Edwards. Already the 5th foul whistled against Purdue in this second half. Only 1 against Rutgers so far.
The bad news for Rutgers is that they're such a poor foul shooting team. In a close game, Kevin, are they going to be able to take advantage of that 64% from the stripe on the year?
The lob to Freeman, the baseline jumper, halfway down, it won't go, and Edwards with his 7th rebound of the afternoon.
And a tough rebound in traffic, most importantly for Purdue, went up with 2 hands.
A bobble by P.J. Thompson again. Here's Matthias around the Haas screen. Edwards, 10 to shoot. Purdue's lead is 3. Working against Freeman, and there's the whistle and the foul. Freeman with his 3rd.
You could see that he got away with one, Kevin. He extended that hand, and the second time they caught him because so much of the traffic had cleared, and Freeman extends that inside hand, and he's played so well for them. He's going to have to go to the bench, even though this is a very thin bench so far for Rutgers. They can't afford for him to get his 4th foul with well over 13 minutes to go here.
Yeah, Purdue's going to take that trade every time, Sean. Freeman for Saw. Freeman with 10 points, 5 rebounds, but 3 fouls, and he sits down with 13 minutes to go in this one. Klein looking for Matthias. Right out on top of him is Chong.
Nice deep by Chong. Boy, really good job.
Matthias couldn't get any breathing room. Edwards has to settle for the deep 3. We've got 3 seconds. Haas stayed too long in the lane, and a turnover back to Rutgers. 4th Purdue turnover in the second half. 7th for the game. Sanders
Thompson with 3. If you're Sanders, you want to attack him off the dribble as well the next time the opportunity presents itself.
He's usually not reluctant to attack off the dribble.
Shy is not one word that's been used to describe Corey Sanders offensively.
Baker with 3 on the shot clock, going to work against Haas. High off the glass. No, but Dorson flying in from nowhere to put it down.
Where did that come from?
4 points, 3 rebounds for Dorson. It's a 1-point game.
Oh, man.
Here's Haas, got free, and Haas hammers it home.
Nice job by Haas of riding Dorson up the lane, and then the good lob pass allowed Haas to catch and gather underneath.
There's 5 points for Isaac Haas. Sanders attacking Thompson. Sanders can't get it to go. Caught on the weak side, and Haas says no more. Aggressive play from Isaac Haas, and Purdue up the floor with a 3-point lead.
Maybe you go back inside to Haas. See if he's awakened here a little bit.
Fine looking for him. Baker all over him.
I mean, Rutgers is just leaving everything they have from an effort standpoint on the floor.
Klein hits the 3 with Baker flying at him. Big answer for Purdue with the Haas dunk and the Klein 3.
And that's a difficult shot because that guy was closing out right on him, and Klein shows you why he knocks it down 40% of the time from deep.
Sanders back up to Dorson, 10 to shoot. Here comes Sanders, trying to go to work. Shot clock winding down. Corey Sanders with 19, step back 3. Got it to fall.
Well, sometimes it can be feast or famine with Corey Sanders, and so far he's got the feedback on, Kevin.
22 for Corey Sanders. We've still got 10 and a half to go. Matthias.
Oh, nice pass.
Edwards, a little bobble, able to corral it and foul. The two teams exchanging big buckets to get to a 3-point game.
Difficult shot start.
Game leaders, Vince Edwards, 10 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 for 9 from the floor for Edwards. And how about Corey Sanders? 22 points and 4 rebounds.
And efficient in putting up those numbers, as 9 of 17 will attest. And just as important for Rutgers, his decision-making has been very good. Sometimes he struggles being loose with the basketball. Not so far today.
Only 2 turnovers for Sanders, 8 as a whole for the team. But remember, they had 6 midway through that first half. Good free throw shooting. Quiets the run for a moment. Purdue's lead is 5.
And P.J. Thompson has the assignment now with 3 fouls. Let's see if they try to clear his side of the floor as the shot clock starts to wind down and let Sanders go to work.
Baker against Edwards with 15 to shoot. Ducor from the elbow. Freeman battling for the rebound, but Vince Edwards takes it away.
Freeman went after it with 1 hand rather than 2. He was worried about holding off the player for Purdue, not able to go after it with 2 hands, and as a result, couldn't corral it.
8 rebounds now for Vince Edwards. He's going to flirt with a triple-double today. Nice tip by Freeman, but right back to Edwards.
I tell you what, Ducor is working his tail off on post defense on Haas. He is doing a wonderful job down there on the block.
Carson Edwards, but a whistle first. Edwards 3, no good. There was a foul on the other side of the floor trying to fight through a Thompson screen. Issa Cham is called for his 4th personal foul.
And that wastes just an outstanding sequence by Mamadou Ducor. I mean, he was battling his tail off down there on the block. And this kind of, you see the shot clock up at the top of your screen, and Issa Cham trying to get over the top, extends the forearm, and a fresh 20 on the reset for Purdue.
Inbound to Klein. Cham sits down. Bullock back out there on the floor. Carson Edwards can't get that to drop before the rebound.
And a nice break out there by Geo Baker. Forced Edwards to play through it, put it up there a little strong.
Sanders going to work. Bullock now will back it out.
Yeah, they've got to spread the floor. Look, you got poor spacing on that side of the floor. No room to operate.
There's Baker now, only 8 to shoot. Looking for the screen from Ducor. He got it, picked up by Haas on the switch. Baker's fadeaway falls. Geo Baker into double figures. He's got 11.
That's a big-time play play by the freshman. One, to maintain his wits, Kevin, because the shot clock was under 10, a stagnant possession until he got the ball in his hands, then a little bit of a step back, able to create space between himself and the 7-footer.
Seen that a couple of times today from the freshman with that 3, and now this 2. P.J. Thompson gives it up to Edwards with 13 to shoot. Good swarming defense by Rutgers. Thompson and Edwards, a 2-man game. Vince Edwards, 3 and air ball. Haas catches, only 5 to shoot. Gotta hurry. Carson Edwards, the deep 3. Won't go. Rebound. Freeman saves it for Rutgers. Baker eyes up, but he sees a lot of Boilermakers. There's Bullock inside, rejected by Haas. Klein trying to save it, but he's out of bounds.
Geo Baker.
Boilermakers scoreless over the last 2 minutes and 11 seconds as Rutgers back within 3. Mamadou Dukor on the bench for this Rutgers squad right now, who's outscored Purdue 25-17 in the second half.
He's earned that rest because he was exerting so much effort guarding Isaac Haas down there on the block. Did a wonderful job of taking away that option for Purdue for a series here in the second half.
7 on the shot clock. Sanders trying to get past Harms. High off the window. No, the tip is there for Freeman.
Effort plays, all of them right now, going toward Rutgers.
12 points, 7 rebounds for Freeman. And the rack rocket again. Thompson. The crowd quieter from deep. Thompson. 9 for P.J. Thompson. 2 for 3 from behind the arc. Sanders.
Smart play not to give it to Dorsey.
There's Freeman. The bounce inside. Dorson couldn't handle it. Mathias is there. Threw it off the leg of Baker. And it'll belong to Purdue. Heads up play again by the senior Dakota Mathias.
You know what? Deshaun Freeman is kind of talking to Shaq Dorson, but this is on Freeman. You have to know the potential recipient of the pass. That's not the strength of Shaq Dorson, catching a bounce pass. And again, the little things come up big for Dakota Mathias and the Purdue Boilermakers as he gets his team another possession. And P.J. Thompson moving without the ball, got just enough of a little rub screen at the foul line from Mathias to allow himself enough room to knock down that big 3.
Third Rutgers turnover this half, 9th for the game. Suf Mensah on the floor, defending P.J. Thompson. Corey Sanders getting a breather, so where will the Rutgers offense come from right now? And there's a whistle and a foul on Bullock.
And a smart play by Mathias, understanding there's no way that Bullock's going to be able to stay in front laterally, takes advantage and forces Bullock to give the foul.
That was indeed a short breather for Corey Sanders. Yeah. About 8 seconds of game time. Issa Cham and Corey Sanders back on the floor. Cham back out there with 4 fouls. And remember, very thin Rutgers bench. Eugene Omoruyi, Mike Williams, neither available. Thompson will try the 3 again. A little strong this time, and a long rebound to Sanders. 4-point ball game. Baker was calling for it. Took a little time for Sanders to get it to him. Freeman, a little deep, can't get it to go, and Haas with the rebound. That would have been a fantastic play, and it gone. Carson Edwards, the dump to Vince Edwards for 2.
What a big potential 4-point swing. That would have brought the house down if Freeman were able to convert with that ball fake. But then what you saw is you saw 3 black jerseys sprint, and the fatigue of Rutgers starting to play in as you had a couple of guys that were jogging back in defensive transition.
6-point lead for Purdue. Real pivotal moment in this game right here. Sanders on the attack, using the window, and Corey Sanders with 24.
And keeping the dribble alive, and most importantly, Kevin, dribbling with his head up, because they're starting to run weak side defenders at Sanders. When he gets in trouble is when he literally puts his head down. Here he keeps his head up and is able to create space with the bounce.
Sanders had only scored 10 points combined in the last 2 games.
A week ago, scoreless in State College.
Mathias got open for 3. Off the heel, the rebound to Sanders. 4-point game again. 5:20 to go. Terrific game at the rack. Rutgers playing somebody tough again at home. Ask Tom Izzo about that. Home and away. They had their fill of Rutgers this year. 6 to shoot. Deshaun Freeman with the spin. The right hand. Short. Carson Edwards the rebound. Good defense by Vince Edwards.
Really good job by Edwards of moving his feet and forcing a difficult shot. If Freeman hits that, you just have to say, you know what, that was better offense than I was able to provide defensively.
Carson Edwards trying to go past Geo Baker. Shaq Dorsey with the rejection. Block number 5 for Rutgers.
A few possessions ago, watch this ball fake. Carson Edwards, where to go? Very difficult conversion, and this leads to the breakout opportunity, and they have numbers. What you don't see is late coming in there, Shaq Dorsey just not able to get back at defensive transition.
And Vince Edwards off the inbound finds room on the baseline. And a 6-point game again. 16 points to go with 8 rebounds and 7 assists for Edwards.
Kid's a winner. That's the highest compliment you can give somebody. He's going to leave as one of the all-time greats at Purdue, and he's done it in workmanlike fashion over 4 years. Wonderful, wonderful player.
His 116th career start today as the foul on Carson Edwards is whistled, his second.
And you can tell right now, he's winded. I mean, he's probably dehydrated right now. He's been battling, some stomach flu issues. Didn't practice, as you mentioned earlier, Kevin, for a couple of days. But when the lights came on and his team has needed him at critical moments, he has delivered.
Well, and you can see one of the big emphasis for Vince Edwards before the season started was rebounding. His goal was 8 to 10 rebounds per game. Came in averaging 8 per game. He's got 8 in this one. And you can see that emphasis on the boards really has paid off this year. Game after game, consistently hitting the glass.
And how about making opportunities available for his teammates with 7 assists so far this afternoon?
Sanders with 6 to shoot. Chom going to go to work against Matthias on the baseline. The floater won't go, and it's an offensive foul on Issa Chom, and he's done.
And great job by P.J. Thompson of coming over and taking the charge. But it started with Matthias. What did he do? He closed out under control on Chom, forcing him to put the ball on the floor. That's not his strength, and he forces him to help. Thompson able to rotate over, and that takes some guts because he took a knee right to the chest.
And that takes a critical piece of Rutgers' attack out as Issa Chom fouls out for the first time this year. 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist in 28 minutes of play.
And that foul drawn on Chom shows you just how much Purdue is dialed in defensively. We talk a lot about their offensive prowess, and deservedly so. But here, you had a guy in Dakota Matthias that knew the scouting report. Don't let Issa Chom be a catch-and-release guy. They can put the ball on the floor with his off or left hand. He does that. Thompson also understands that, rotates over, and most importantly, if you're Purdue, gets his feet set outside the restricted area.
And well established before Chom got there. Here's Matthias. 15 on the shot clock. P.J. Thompson, the jump pass to Edwards. Entry to Haas, working against Bullock. Haas has got to take advantage of this. Spins baseline, can't get it, but a foul. Huge mismatch for Isaac Haas, and it'll send Purdue's big man to the foul line when we return. Purdue hanging on 1-on-1 opportunities for both. Possession arrow favoring Matt Painter's Boilermakers. 6-point game, 3:40 remaining. In Piscataway is Isaac Haas to the line for a pair. Haas 2 for 3 at the line. You mentioned it earlier, Sean. Just a terrific free throw shooter. Second best free throw shooter of any 7-footer in America. Only Adonis De La Rosa of Kent State is better at the line.
And he's put the time in because as a freshman, he hovered around the 50% mark. Actually, the first couple of years of his career, but he's put the time in. And when you play with your back to the basket and draw as much physical attention, that's worth an extra 2 to 3 points per ball game by increasing your foul shooting percentage by the 20 points.
Purdue's outscored Rutgers by 8 at the line as Sanders tries the window, can't get it to go. Freeman's tip no, and out of bounds off to Sean Freeman. 3:20 remaining And Purdue with a chance to extend once again to double figures.
And this is a really big defensive sequence for Rutgers. You kind of saw them after that ball went out of bounds. A couple of heads dropped. They have to lock down on this defensive end of the floor because they're not a really explosive team offensively. They can't allow this lead to spread out much further as we approach the 3-minute mark.
Edwards looking for some help. Finds it from Matthias. 3 minutes to play. Carson Edwards now. Working against his opposite number, Corey Sanders, and the pull-up falls for Edwards. He's got 10. And the lead is 10, 66-56. Sanders, Freeman with the catch in traffic and a foul on Carson Edwards, his third.
Carson Edwards, nice job of utilizing that left-handed dribble and then rising up quickly before Corey Sanders can come in and make a play on the ball. And then Corey Sanders, whose decision-making has been so good for long periods of time, very fortunate on that pass, Kevin, because he was leading Deshaun Freeman into a world of trouble with that little lob pass, as you saw a bunch of Purdue Boilermakers rotating over.
Can't get the free throw. Bullock the rebound. And a foul on Carson Edwards, his fourth. And that'll send Bullock to the line for the 1-and-1. Trying to snap a drought of over 3 minutes for Rutgers. 6-0 spurt for Purdue. Taking it from 4 to 10 in the span of 2 minutes.
And Bullock, who just started playing, getting into the regular rotation a few games ago, 0 of 1 from the line on the year.
It's the first and grabs the bonus. 3 points, 4 rebounds for Bullock, who had 8 his last time out at Illinois in the 31-point loss on the road. Good form at the line by Bullock as he hits them both. Now Rutgers needs stops. Corey Sanders wants the crowd to rise again.
And Matthias with the quickness matchup on the far side if they choose to take advantage of it with Bullock isolated.
Haas gets it right back to Matthias. 11 on the shot clock. The shovel to Matthias with 9. And a whistle and a...
They got
Haas away from the ball, trying to fight through the traffic. Isaac Haas with his third.
And that's a break for Rutgers because they had really poor spacing. They forced Purdue down there into a very difficult situation. It looked like they might be able to get the ball inside to Haas, but he extended that arm a little bit. He didn't keep it the elbow bend. He extended it just enough to draw the attention of the official.
2:15 to go. Bullock with Sanders now working against Thompson. Weaving, Sanders floating, strong. Freeman tries, no, but a foul.
That kid has battled. You name the body part, he's battled it off, has Deshaun Freeman. He has thrown his body in there on the offensive glass, regardless of the size disadvantage at which he finds himself. Watch him come snaking in here. No one in a black jersey puts a body on him, and even though he's not able to get that second hand on, he had the ball going up toward the rim. That drew the attention of the officials, and they're going to call it a shooting foul.
And the job Rutgers has done on the glass today, really impressive considering the size up front for Purdue. They've out-rebounded Purdue 33-25.
Well, offensive rebounding has been a staple of Rutgers in the short year-plus tenure of Coach Steve Pikiell. They averaged 14 offensive rebounds per game, and they certainly have done nothing to diminish that today.
They'd shown a little slippage of late. They'd only won the battle on the glass 1 out of the last 6 games. And today, on paper, didn't look like a game that they'd be able to win that battle, but they're well up in the rebounding battle and only down 6 on the scoreboard as Rutgers uses one of its 2 remaining game time, and Corey Sanders was on the bench resting in this game. He has played nearly the entirety of this basketball game. And not an easy game to play a full 40 minutes.
No, especially when you have the versatile and varied defenders that Purdue's been able to run at him. They've been able to put a smaller player on him on P.J. Thompson. Matthias has guarded him for a period of time, as has Vincent Edwards and Ryan Klein. He's faced at least 4 different defenders throughout the course of that 38 minutes.
Haas able to find Carson Edwards, who pulls up, a little off, rebound, pulled down by Bullock.
And much like the core gave workmanlike effort down on the block battling Haas, Shaq Dorson has done the same during his tenure.
Bullock with his 5th rebound. There's Sanders with 15 to shoot. 90 seconds to go in Piscataway, 6-point game. Nowhere to go for Sanders. Carson Edwards all over him. He'll fire a deep three. It hits! He hits the three and a foul underneath. Count the bucket. The foul underneath.
I think they
going against Rutgers and Bullock. But the bucket will count.
I mean, this is when you know it's your day. I mean, that's a big-time shot, and there's no question about that foul. I mean, Bullock, you should hope to get that kind of fullback performance in the big game tomorrow along the goal line.
Chris Ash, Rutgers football coach, was here earlier. I assume he stuck around. He's going to be talking with Bullock after the game about his thoughts on playing on the gridiron in the fall. Arms in for Haas as the one-and-one comes for P.J. Thompson, who's an 87% shooter and a perfect 3 for 3 today.
And Kevin, how about the toughness of the undersized P.J. Thompson? Remember, he was the guy that took the charge on Issa Chom. He took the knee right to the chest. And here Bullock, this is a Yugo getting run over by a beer truck. Advantage beer truck.
But the Yugo at the line
keeps running,
hits 2, and moves on. 5-point lead for Rutgers. Kids right now are Googling Yugo. Sanders on the drive. Wild shot, no. Tipped by Dorson, won't go. Ball knocked free by Dorson into the hands of Sanders, who almost walked with it. Coming up on a minute to play. Sanders from the elbow. No. Rebound, Dorson, and Dorson a travel.
And he's hurt.
He came down, and he is hurt. You could see him scream and hear him yell as he fell. Boy.
I mean, Dorson, like Mamadou Decor, I think he just kind of rolled his ankle. Looked like he rolled his ankle before he hits the floor. He's going to come into the screen, and you see him pull that foot up, that right foot, before it hit the ground. And Mamadou Decor and Shaq Dorson, they may not have scored a lot today, but I tell you what, they have earned the respect of anyone that understands post play and going against the size put forth by the Purdue Boilermakers. And Kevin, this is a full house for Rutgers here today. And if this is the first time that these folks have come, you could see him almost what happened to Juwan Morgan a few games ago, where he kind of rolled his own ankle.
It looked like he caught it on his own heel.
But if you're Rutgers and you're a Rutgers fan, and this is the first time that you've come to see this team play, this team with this performance, regardless of the outcome, has earned the privilege of having you come back with how hard they've played.
Well, they beat Wisconsin here. They beat Iowa here. Of course, they beat Seton Hall in a game on BTN in December. They played Michigan State to 10 points here. They played them to overtime in East Lansing. And Matthias is fouled with 53.6 seconds to go. He'll go to the line in a 5-point game. Corey Sanders was trying to bait a foul on the other end. He's mentioned their play here in the rack this year for Rutgers. And this won't show you the game with Seton Hall. Well, yes, it will, actually, because they've been playing tough at home. They get the win over Seton Hall. They lose to Michigan State by 10. The only real lopsided game in there against them was the Ohio State game. And it certainly won't be this one today, with Purdue leading by just 5, now 6. Steve Pikiell doing this as well today without 2 key components in Eugene Omoruyi and Mike Williams.
Kevin, you're a team in Rutgers that scores, you know, about 66 points per ball game. And you take those 2 guys out, the aforementioned Omoruyi and Mike Williams, that's 16 points that you've taken out of your lineup, and they've still been able to replace it. And the job he's done mixing and matching his lineups when his options are pretty limited, really impressive.
Sanders hits the pull-up. He's got 29, and a timeout taken by Rutgers, their final timeout in a 5-point game. And if you're a Purdue fan, Sean, you don't...
Especially when you have somebody like Mike Watkins, who had 19 rebounds a week ago against these Scarlet Knights.
Already saw one top 5 upset earlier today, not far from here at Madison Square Garden, where St. John's knocked off 4th-ranked Duke. Purdue trying to avoid the upset bug in Piscataway, up 5 with 42 seconds to go. Thompson finding Matthias, and Matthias fouled by Corey Sanders. Just the first Sanders foul. And Dakota Matthias, who's 2 for 2 at the line, headed back. Mentioned that top 5 going over to play Seton Hall tomorrow. Virginia's at Syracuse. You got Purdue, of course, playing right now. Duke lost to St. John's earlier today, and Michigan State's at Indiana tonight.
And those Hoosiers a week ago gave these Purdue Boilermakers everything they wanted in Assembly Hall. And if you're Michigan State, you have to be wary of going on the road, because there have been times, Kevin, we've seen games, especially against these Rutgers Scarlet Knights, they struggle taking care of the basketball. And live ball turnovers against a team that's itching for an upset, you can't afford to have that.
Such a good free throw shooting team. Getting it done again at the line. Purdue is 19 of 21. 91% and a perfect 10 for 10 in the second half. Baker will pull the trigger on the deep three, and he'll hit it. No timeouts left for Rutgers, a 4-point game. Matthias, the inbound to Carson Edwards. And Edwards fouled by Baker, his third.
Rutgers foul number 3, Corey Sanders. That's his second personal foul.
Well, the junior Corey Sanders has been fantastic, and his freshman running mate in the backcourt, Geo Baker, has been doing that all his freshman season. Kind of gets overlooked because Rutgers hasn't necessarily had a stellar record, but for the casual fan, make sure you remember the name and follow the career of Geo Baker here at Rutgers.
They gave that foul to Sanders, so 2 on Sanders and 2 on Geo Baker. Edwards just 2 for 4 at the line as he hits the second. He has 11, 5-point game, 25 seconds to go. Sanders attacking. Finds Saw for the two-hand flush. And a one-possession game again. 20 seconds remaining. Matthias into Vince Edwards. Freeman with a whistle and a foul. Just a little touch on the backside. Gets Freeman the foul, and he has fouled out.
Rutgers continuing to fight all the way to the horn. Nice job by Corey Sanders of drawing 3 black jerseys to his attention. That allows the drop off to Saw. And when Corey Sanders is playing well, he makes those kind of passes. He doesn't put so much mustard on it. He knew that Saw needed it softly, above the shoulders. That's exactly where he put it.
You saw a brief second of hesitation for Deshaun Freeman on that foul. He knew that he had those 4. He was hoping somebody else would come over and take that foul so that he wouldn't leave, but time became an issue, and Freeman with 14 points and 9 rebounds sits down.
Yeah, he was expecting Bullock to come over and help him out, but then he saw the clock was continuing to run. He goes, look, I have to do this and kill the clock right now.
5 for 5 is Vince Edwards at the line. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists for Edwards. And a 5-point game. Datica and Bullock on the floor now for Rutgers. Sanders navigating up the floor. Tries the deep 3. Won't go. Bullock there for the offensive rebound and the putback. 6th rebound. He has 6 points.
Still a one-possession game.
10.7 seconds to go, and a foul issued by Baker to Thompson.
And smart play with 2 senior backcourt mates. We've seen them do it on the defensive end, here on the offensive end. You have your best passer and decision maker, Dakota Matthias, as the trigger man. And rather than panic, he runs the baseline. That gives Thompson enough time to get over to that corner, and then you don't necessarily want to throw it to your teammate. You want to throw it away from the defense. That's exactly what Matthias did.
P.J. Thompson, the senior, to the line, where he's 5 for 5 today. 11 points, and he misses for the first time at the stripe. Still a one-possession game. Sanders begging the crowd to stand. They respond. And Thompson, like a senior, hits the free throw. Timeout, Purdue.
And what Purdue is going to emphasize now is, look, we're going to let him inbound it.
Mackey is going to be off the charts loud. Bullock to trigger in. Here's Sanders. Navigating. Sanders driving. Sanders right into Harms. Got it to go. 2-point game. 4 seconds remaining. Matthias has to get it in, and a timeout. The final timeout for Purdue.
And a smart play by Harms, because Rutgers is trying to draw the and one. Haas is back on the floor. Why? Because he's a good foul shooter at 78%. So if you're Matthias, now you have options. You have guys like Carson Edwards and Vince Edwards coming toward the ball, and if all else fails, you can put it up toward Haas and force them to give the foul there.
Carson Edwards with the foul from Geo Baker. Now a 2-point game. Edwards, who is just 3 for 5 at the line. Don't forget Iowa Penn State coming up as soon as we're done here. But you'll forgive me if I don't necessarily want this one to end. This has been fun.
A lot of fun. Great environment. The effort put forth by both teams, especially kind of an undermanned Rutgers squad, very impressive. And you knew Purdue, if you're the Boilermakers, you knew you were going to get the best shot of not just the Scarlet Knights, but everyone remaining on your schedule.
Huge free throw here for Carson Edwards.
This is going in. I'm just going to tell you right now.
I would never doubt you.
Well, that's to your detriment. I'm just telling you this one's going in.
And the sophomore playing like a senior. 2-possession game, 3 seconds to go. Baker has to hurry. Baker from the foul line. Good, it does count, but Purdue survives. 78-76. Purdue sneaks out a win on the road.